Hello, this is Angelos Derlopas, CEO of Positivity Coaching, and you're listening to my podcast.
It is my pleasure today to welcome Angelos Derlopas to the Wise Masterful Coaches video series on the future of coaching. And it is my extreme pleasure to introduce Angelos to you today. So Angelos is a master certified coach, an accredited coach supervisor, and he has 3 decades of business experience, 20,000 hours of coaching experience. He has clients in 100 countries, a conference presenter in 3 continents, and has trained 1,000 coaches. So I think that's why we call him a wise, masterful coach. His academic studies include an MBA and an MSc in psychology. He's a book author and editor. And Angelos coaches executives and teams through developmental dialogue to make shifts so their authentic presence will emerge and flourish. His top values are justice and human rights. Angelos, as you know, we gathered this year in Sicily as a group of master coaches, and we had some very generative and thought-provoking discussion about the future of our amazing profession, which is coaching. Some of the discussions apply to the future of work in general, and some were specific to the future of coaching. I am really looking forward to this continuing exploration and your thoughts today on the future of coaching. So, Angelos, please share with us your area of focus for today's discussion and your thoughts in this area.
Thank you very much, Benita. And yes, I would like to talk about the AI, the artificial intelligence, and its application with coaching. We have been observing for the last 2 years, or maybe 2 years and a half, ever since the first lockdowns with COVID, that the so-called digital coaching platforms or aggregators, the big companies that are somehow the entity between coaches and their clients, had made coaching more popular, or that could be one way to rationalize that, and the other way would be the COVID and the lockdowns itself, and it made the technology more approachable, it familiarizes all with new technology, and it feels like a screen-to-screen interaction has replaced the face-to-face interaction. We now say face-to-face, we really mean screen-to-screen, right?
Yes.
And it's still intimate. There's still connection, and it's amazing because we can connect deeply and meaningfully in so many ways, and from different countries, different hemispheres, and different time zones. That was not available before COVID. And I think we were people, for the lucky one of us that are still here, we have been much more in contact, in connection, and more frequently, and I think more closely. And AI has not been a problem. I don't think that AI has been that much present as we thought it would be. Remember 3 years ago, we were having that first retreat with the Wise Masterful Coaches in Rhodes.
That was wonderful.
Remember that we had
Yes.
these conversations inside the castle, and we were so concerned about AI and ethical concerns and what would that mean, and we were so cautious having these great conversations. It turned out it was not that AI did not really kick off that quickly. We are not seeing AI coaches that much. Well, there are some more in the form of the chatbots. But the truth is that what we know about AI right now is that there are 3 levels, and we are still on the first level regarding AI coaching, right? And What we have seen so far is that AI coaching is not on that level yet. It can provide performance coaching outcomes that can be compared to what we could call human coaching, human interaction coaching.
Yeah.
But it requires much more, many iterations. So I think at this point, this is not what stands out. And I think there's not been many investments in this kind of AI. I think AI, based on what we know, in combination with the digital platforms, is more invested in how do people are being paired. The matching system is being facilitated somehow with AI.
Yeah, it's certainly making just simple things like making appointments, right? We don't think of that. Oh, I'll just go to the coach's calendar. We don't think of that as AI. We think AI is a robot going to talk to us, but really, just as I booked time on your calendar, that was AI, right?
You're right. That was AI. And maybe other things like maybe we're saving time in the sense that we don't have to have so many chemistry sessions right now because there's some kind of AI system that are making the pairing, which is also very important to have a fruitful, free-flowing, and functional coaching relationship, coaching partnership. So I think that's useful so far. And this is what we know where the money goes to right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting that, Angelos, you said there's 3 levels of AI, and we're just sort of touching the surface of the first level now. And it's interesting how much fear was initiated with that initial thought. As you said, in our conversations back in Greece in 2019, before COVID, how the conversation today is completely different. And the fear is gone out of it. And now we're actually welcoming AI. So I think that's an important shift also.
That's right. It has changed things in many ways. And I think we should also take into consideration that a few years ago, before COVID, many of us were talking about team coaching, and we're projecting that team coaching will soon be what coaching was 10 years ago, booming. And the truth is that, team coaching grew bigger, but not that much, because COVID happened, digital coaching happened, and with so-called democratization, or let's say popularization, made it more accessible to more people, and more people are more eager to have this conversation online instead of having to meet, in the office.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because I'm seeing in the area where I work in the Middle East, anyways, I'm starting to see an increase in the team coaching, but it's not as exponential as we had thought it would be a few years ago. But I think we might just be on the cusp of that, and we're really going to see that change in a short while. And it may have changed in other areas. I'm speaking only from the Middle East perspective now.
The truth is, yes, we might see that, and maybe we should keep an eye on that. And the truth is that there are so many different ways that we can have team coaching, and we can have team coaching online these days as well, with technology being more and more accessible and functioning with broadbands. And speaking for myself, before COVID, I wouldn't have thought of me having a team coaching session in the Far East, but here I was after March 2020, after the first lockdown, that I did have a session online on the other side of the earth, and never thought I would do that online.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
It's exciting. We get to be more effective, more productive, and more productive with our time as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Really more productive and more effective. I think that remains to be seen with online team coaching. I'm kind of sitting on the fence with that one. I'm not sure. I'm not. I prefer in person for team coaching myself, but maybe I'm just being stubborn. I'm not sure.
This is very interesting, Benita. I would say yes, the experience is more rich with team coaching as well, with training as well, training groups and so on. What I have noticed, because I have been practicing both with coaching, training, and team coaching, is that there are things that you cannot do. There are things that you can do in the room, in the physical room, that you cannot do on Zoom, for example. But it goes the other way around as well. There are things that you can do online that you cannot do when you're face to face.
Yes.
So I'm wondering.
Yeah.
After a while, will we need to do both, to do a combination?
Yeah. Interesting. The future opens up, right?
You're right, and it changes the way that we function. It changes the way that we speak. Even, I mean, 10 years ago, we were talking about virtual meetings. We don't use that word anymore.
Yeah, what is that? It's funny. We just say, let's meet.
Right.
Would you like to meet on Teams or Zoom?
Right.
We don't even say virtual. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. So Angelos, we've covered a lot of topics today, and thank you for that. But now I'm curious, because I'm going to ask you, what is the one question that you would like to leave the audience with to ponder on, either the future of work or the future of coaching?
Yes, I think it's somehow it's combined. It has to do with data, because as we're working more and more online, or as we're living more and more online, the way that we use data is becoming more of a crucial point, and regulators and governments and also corporations and us as professionals and as individuals should be very much concerned. It's not about something that data is not a bad thing that we want to cast out of our life. I think we want to ponder what would be the best use. For example, we could have a data gathering and processing of data would be very helpful in creating a body of evidence for coaching as a profession, science, on what is working. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because there's so much fear around having all our data collected in one place, and how is it being used, and are the people who are using our data ethical practitioners or ethical organizations or ethical, or I guess just the question is, are they ethical? And so there's a lot of fear around that. And I think that will unfold. As you said, it's a great opportunity for research, which is desperately needed, I believe, in the coaching and the team coaching and the supervision fields. So I think that science, it will help the science part, and we'll see what happens with the human part. It'll be interesting to see how we adjust or don't in the future to that collection of data. Yes.
Interesting.
So thank you. So thank you for that question, Angelos, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and experience with our audience today. And this is Benita Stafford-Smith signing off for today.
This is Angelos Derlopas, and you can listen to my podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Google.